Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. But deliver us from evil.
Present with me right now. On my left is Engineer Lisel Amamiyo, and we have also our engineers from Planning and Design section, Engineer Alfie, Engineer Joshua, and Engineer Henry. And on my right, we have Engineer Dali and Engineer Alan. And from back secretariat, we have Ruby, and our IT officer, we have AG. So to start with, for this afternoon, we have contract ID 23HF0117, construction of flood mitigation structure at Matabang Bridge. We have 23HF0118, rehabilitation, reconstruction of Toledo, Pinamungahan, Alaginsan, Mantalongon Road. 24HF0015, this is a rebid project, construction of road at Barangay Arpili, Balamban, Cebu. 24HF020, construction of road at Barangay Kapitan Claudio, Toledo City, Cebu. We have 24HF0047, convergence and special support program, construction improvement of access road leading to Mount Manunggal at Barangay Sunog, Balamban, Cebu. And we have 24HF0051, construction improvement of Barangay Bunga Lamak, Poblacion Road leading to Resort Cave at Pinamungahan, Cebu. 24HF055, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Maigang, Barili, Cebu. And we have 24HF0056, construction of multipurpose building at Sitio Luas, Barangay Matabang, Toledo City, Cebu. And lastly, 24HF0070, construction of multipurpose building at Barangay Poblacion, Asturias, Cebu. So we will, the planning and design engineers will discuss firstly on 23HF00117, and we have Engineer Alfie.
Good afternoon, everyone. For construction of flood mitigation structures at Matabang Bridge upstream, Barangay Matabang, Toledo City, Cebu. Our project length is 520 linear meters and project duration is 263 calendar days only. Items involved for facilities for the field engineer, provision of field office for the engineer, operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. Then for other general requirements, we have project billboard, 3 project billboard, including project billboard for COA, occupational safety and health program, mobilization and demobilization, detour access road. Then for flood and river control. We have Part LA, earthworks. We have clearing and grubbing, excavation for unsuitable material, then embankment from barrow. Then for our structure, revetment structure, we have steel sheet pile and concrete slope protection for its capping. So our width of river bank to bank is 10 meters. Thank you.
You may proceed 23 SF 0118, please.
For construction of slope protection structure along Toledo, Pinambungahan, Aluginsan, Mantalongon Road, kilometer 73 plus 960 to 74, 122. Project duration is 387 calendar days. And we have 4,343.56 square meter. So items involved, we have for Part A, facilities of the engineer. We have provision of field office for the engineer, operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. For Part B, other general requirements, again, we have project billboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, and mobilization, demobilization. For earthworks, we have removal of structures and obstruction. For removal of structures for the existing slope protection structures. Then removal of actual structures and obstruction. 0.2 meter thick of PCCP or shouldering, and removal of actual structures and obstruction, PCCP again, 0.28 meter thickness for its carriageway, for existing carriageway. Then removal of actual structure and obstruction for existing curb, and removal of structure and obstruction concrete, which is the existing concrete line canal. So for excavation works, we have surplus rock excavation. Category is soft, then embankment from barrow, common soil, then subgrade preparation, common soil, then for aggregate sa base course, then for surface courses, we have Portland cement concrete pavement, 0.23 thickness for replacement of shouldering. Then Portland cement concrete pavement, 0.20 thickness for carriageway. Then reinforcing steel grade 40 and structural concrete for construction of concrete line canal and concrete capping. Then for drainage and slope protection structures, we have steel sheet pile. Then we also have for slope protection structures, we have erosion control mat, permanent ground anchor, active wire mesh system, high tensile wire. Then for stability niya sa slope. Then for miscellaneous structure, we have curb and gutter, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement, white, and reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings, yellow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Alfie. And this is to inform that 23 SF 0117 and 23 SF 0118 is under late release of funds for CY 2023. So now I'll give you the floor to Engineer Joshua to discuss on 24 SF 0015 down to 24 SF 20, 24 SF 047, and 24 SF 55. Please take it away.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. So first, I will be discussing 24 HF 0015 construction of road in Barangay Arpili, Balamban, Cebu. The total length of the project is 0.3 kilometers or 0.6 lane kilometers. The total project duration is 49 calendar days. So for the items of work involved in the project, first we have the facilities for the engineer, provision of field office for the engineer rental basis. Next part, we have the project billboard or sign. Next part is the other general requirements. First item is the project billboard or signboard. Next, the occupational safety and health program. Next is the traffic management. And last item for this part is the mobilization or demobilization. Next part is the earthworks. First item is the individual removal of trees, 150 to 300 mm diameter. Next, the structure excavation, common soil. Next, the surplus common excavation. Next item is the embankment from roadway excavation, common soil. And last item for this part is the subgrade preparation, common material. Next part is the sub-base and base course. We have an item of aggregate sub-base course. Next part is the surface courses. For this part, we have an item for Portland cement concrete pavement and reinforced 0.20 meters thick, 14 days. Next part is the drainage and slope protection structures. First item is the reinforcing steel grade 40. Next, the structural concrete 20.68 MPa class A 28 days. Next item is the pipe culverts 910 mm diameter class 2 RCPC. And last item for this part is the stone masonry. Next part is the miscellaneous structures. First, we have the reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings white. And last is the reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow. So that would be all for contract ID 24HF0015. Next, I will be discussing contract ID 24HF0020, the construction of road in Barangay Captain Claudio, Toledo City, Cebu. The total length of the project is 0.282 kilometers or 0.564 lane kilometers. The total project duration is 49 calendar days. For this project, first part is the facilities for the engineer, which is the provision of field office for the engineer rental basis. Next part, the other general requirements. First, we have the project billboard or signboard. Next, the occupational safety and health program. Next item is the traffic management. And last is the mobilization or demobilization. Next part is the earthworks. First, we have the surplus common excavation. Next, the embankment from roadway excavation, common soil. Next item is the subgrade preparation, common material. Next part, we have the sub-base and base course, which is composed of aggregate sub-base course. Next part is the surface courses. So it is composed of Portland cement concrete pavement and reinforced 0.20 meters thick, 14 days. Next part is the drainage and slope protection structures. First item is the reinforcing steel, grade 40. Next, the structural concrete, 27.58 MPa class A, 28 days. Next, the pipe culvert, 910 mm diameter, class 2 RCPC. Next item, the stone masonry. And last item is the hand-laid rock embankment. And last part for this project is the miscellaneous structures, which is the reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings white. So that would be all for the construction of road in Barangay Captain Claudio, Toledo City, Cebu. So next, I will discuss the construction of multi-purpose buildings. Ako lang ni sa ang tulo ka project kay same scope of work. Then I will also discuss the kanang unsay naglahi nila o unsay mga na-add nga items. So this is for contract ID 24HF0055, 24HF0056, 24HF0070. So for 24HF0055, it is the construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Maigang, Barili, Cebu. For 24HF0056, the construction of multi-purpose building in Sitio Luas, Barangay Matabang, Toledo City, Cebu. And last is the construction of multi-purpose building in Poblacion, Asturias, Cebu. All of these projects has a total project duration of 90 calendar days. So I will now discuss the common item of works of this project. First part is the facilities for the engineer, the provision of field office for the engineer rental basis. Next part is the other general requirements, the permits and clearances. Next item is the project billboard, signboard. Next, the occupational safety and health. And last item for this part is the mobilization or demobilization. Next part is the earthworks. First, we have the structure excavation common soil. Next item, the embankment from structure excavation common soil. And last item is the gravel fill. Next part is the plain and reinforced concrete work. First item is the structural concrete class A 28 days. Next, the reinforcing steel deformed grade 40. Next, reinforcing steel deformed grade 60. And last item for this part is the formworks and false works. Next part is the finishing and other civil works. First item, we have the fascia board, 19 mm fiber cement board. Next, fabricated metal roofing accessory, flashings, gauge 26. Next, the pre-painted metal sheets above 0.427 mm corrugated type long span. Next, we have the cement plaster finish. We also have painting work steel. Next item is the metal structures. The metal structure accessories, bolts and rods. Metal structure accessories, turnbuckle. Metal structure accessories, sagrods. Metal structure accessories, cross bracing. And metal structure accessories, steel plates. Next is the structural steel trusses, and structural steel purlins. So now I will discuss ang mga item of works nga naglahi sa per project. So for the construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Maigang, Barili, Cebu, for our earthworks, we have an item for removal of structures and obstruction. For the construction of multi-purpose building in Sitio Luas, Barangay Matabang, Cebu, for our part in earthworks, first, we have an item for individual removal of trees, 150 to 300 mm diameter, and removal of structures and obstruction. For the construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Poblacion, Asturias, Cebu, we have a part for our electrical. So first item is the conduits, boxes, and fittings, which is composed of the conduit works and conduit roughing ins. Next item is the electrical wire, 3.5 mm squared, TW, THNN stranded. Next item is the electrical wire, 8.0 mm squared, TW, THNN stranded. Next item is the panel board with main and branch breakers. And last item is the lighting fixtures. So that would be all for the contract ID 24HF0055, the construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Maigang, Barili, Cebu. 24HF0056, construction of multi-purpose building in Sitio Loas, Barangay Matabang, Toledo City, Cebu. And for the 24HF0070, construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Poblacion, Astoria, Cebu.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Joshua, and we'll have I give you Engineer Henry to discuss on the details of 24HF0047 and 24HF0051.
Good afternoon. For 24HF0047, Convergence and Special Support Program, Construction Improvement of Access Road leading to Mount Manunggal, Barangay Sunog, Balamban, Cebu. The project is located at Barangay Sunog, Balamban, Cebu, with a contract duration of 164 calendar days with ABC amount of 19.6 million pesos. This project is mainly slope protection opposite to the mountainside, divided into 3 sections with a total length of 130 meters. Scope of work include Part A, facilities for the engineer, provision of field office for the engineer rental basis, operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. Part B, other general requirements, project billboard and signboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization, demobilization. Part C, earthwork, individual removal of trees, 150 mm to 300 mm diameter small, removal of actual structures and obstruction, 100 mm thick ACP, surplus common excavation, embankment from roadway structure excavation, subgrade preparation, common material. For Part D, sub-base and base course, we have item 201, aggregate sub-base course. For Part E, surface courses, Portland cement concrete pavement unreinforced 200 mm thick for the concrete shoulder. Portland cement concrete pavement 230 mm thick, 14 days for the concreting of the carriageway. For Part G, reinforcing steel grade 40, reinforcing steel grade 60, structural concrete 20.68 MPa Class A 28 days. For scar protection, we have gabions 1 meter by 1 meter by 2 meters metallic coated, filter cloth, and permanent ground anchor. For Part H, miscellaneous structures, we have concrete curb precast, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings white, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow. For street lighting, we have tapered solar LED roadway lighting, 8 meters height, 60 watt to 100 watts. That would be all for the 24HF0047. For the 24HF0051, titled Construction Improvement of Barangay Bunga Lamak Poblacion Road, leading to Resort and Cave, Pinamongahan, Cebu, with a contract duration of 188 days, with ABC amount of 39.2 million pesos. Scope of works include Part A, facilities for the engineer, provision of field office for the engineer, operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer. Part B, other general requirements, project billboard, signboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization, demobilization. For Part C, earthwork, we have individual removal of trees, 150 mm to 300 mm diameter small, removal of actual structures obstruction, 100 mm thick ACP, surplus common excavation, embankment from roadway or structure excavation, subgrade preparation common material. For Part D, sub-base and base course, we have aggregate sub-base course. Part E, surface courses, Portland cement concrete pavement unreinforced 200 mm thick, 14 days for the concrete shoulder. Portland cement concrete pavement unreinforced 230 mm thick 14 days for the carriageway. Part G, drainage and slope protection structures. Reinforcing steel grade 40, reinforcing steel grade 60, structural concrete 20.68 MPa class A 28 days for the capping. Pipe culverts 910 mm diameter class 2 RCPC. Grouted riprap class A, stone masonry, hand-laid rock embankment, sheet pile steel slope protection. For scar protection, gabions 1 meter by 1 meter by 2 meter metallic coated, filter cloth, and permanent ground anchor. For part H, miscellaneous structures, concrete curb precast, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings white, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow, and lastly, tapered solar LED roadway lighting, 8-meter height, 60 to 100 watts power. So that would be all for the 24HF0051.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Engineer Henry, and thank you to all planning engineers. And let's hear from Ma'am Lisel. Any other concern?
Hey, good afternoon to all viewers. So the only thing I can say is all about the traffic management and about the safety and health during implementations, that it should be followed, especially that is included in our scope of work and our pay item. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Lisil. And now let's hear from Engineer Dali from construction.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to discuss the major category of work for each contract ID. For contract ID 23HF0117, the major category of work is FCSPS or flood control, construction, slope protection using structural measures. For contract ID number 23HF0118, the major category of work is RCSPS, road construction, slope protection using structural measures. For contract ID number 24HF0015, the major category of work is RCP, road construction PCCP. For contract ID 24HF0020, the major category of work is RCP, road construction PCCP. For contract ID 24HF0047, the major category of work is RCP, road construction PCCP. For contract ID number 24HF0051, the major category of work is RCP, road construction PCCP. For contract ID 24HF0055, the major category of work is building construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For contract ID number 24HF0056, the major category of work is building construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. And lastly, for contract ID number 24HF070, the major category of work is building construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. And I would like to remind to all bidders that for contract ID 23HF0118, we have an item under Part G, drainage and slow protection structure. We have an item 522, active wire mesh system high tensile. So in compliance to DO number 22 dated February 8, 2022, was subsequently issued amending item 522 of DO 32 series of 2019 such that in addition to the required manufacturer supplier certificate of compliance with the material specification requirements, a non-infringement of registered patent with patent number and materials country of origin clearly stated, initially required in the earlier DO. The subsequent department order further required for the patent to be part of the technical documents during the bidding. And for the informations of our participating bidders, it is part of our checklist on your financial proposal. So that's all, Madam Chairman. Thank you and good afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Dals. And it's very clear, no, that part of the technical documents, you have to attach the patent number as well as the country of origin where the item 522 is being manufactured. So let's hear from Sir Alan, please.
Hello, good afternoon. So for the interested bidders now, make sure to check the ability of your equipment now, make sure in the minimum required equipment of the projects discussed now. So it will not cause our delay in the implementation. Make sure the availability of your equipments for this particular projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Alan. And lastly, I would like to remind participating bidders, please update your documents, legal and technical documents as to their expiry. Since January, there are documents that will expire expired last December 31. So try to check kung wa ba tayo na expire nga documents and this may be a ground for ineligibility, so be aware of that. So is there any more other concern before we end up this meeting? Apa? Wala na. Wala na. So bidding will be on Wednesday, January 31, 2024. So dropping will start at 10 a.m. and we'll proceed to the opening of bids. So again, good afternoon, everyone, and this meeting is adjourned. Time is 2:38. Thank you and good afternoon.